All righty. For anybody who's listening, I don't think we have anybody on the air yet, but well, we got people, but I got dogs in the view. Come on, girl. Come on. All righty. Would you stop? All righty, just getting ready here. Alrighty, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? Good evening. This is K4PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex Net. Net control for that net is, well, we'll hear this. It is indeed our 500th net, I think. And the applause, of course, from the studio audience here. Where was I? Oh, yes. Is if there's no emergency traffic, but if there is, please don't hesitate to give us a shout. Call 911 first. For information on this site, you can see our website at 146415.net, 146415.net, or you can see us on YouTube right now. You can see, well, see me. You can hear the net live, of course, and that's on. You can either look on the search block on YouTube on on K4PEW, my call Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey, or on the channel name Brain Trusts, BRAINTRUSTS. It's one word, but the call will get it too. This net normally meets at 8 p.m. Or you can also, Yahoo Groups is in there too, which is my MJ_SS on Yahoo Groups, or an email K4PEW@ARRL.net. We meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday, which we've been doing for the last 500 nets, which is unbelievable to me. Purpose of net is support and train ham radio operators and having fun, and we do it on 146.415 FM Simplex. It's not that we don't use repeaters, it's just that this gets us into better repeaters. People get more excited because they get better stations, and they can even hit repeaters 85 to 100 miles away if they got a decent station. And let's see, we use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, resources, and training in support of the city of Mount Juliet and the surrounding communities, which is pretty big surrounding communities because we get all the way up into Bowling Green. The directed net and all traffic should be coordinated by net controllers. Are there any announcements? Well, I have a couple, which you've heard before, which is Ham Quest, which is coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today is Ham Quest, and that's, of course, on the 27th of July. This is the 13th, so 2 weeks from today. Don't forget, very important event. This will be, I think, the third one, the third annual. And then, of course, in Huntsville, we've got the Huntsville Ham Fest, and that's on the 17th of August, so that's only 4 weeks away. And then the Cedars of Lebanon, which is August 24th, and that's the Cedars of Lebanon Ham Fest. You don't want to miss that either. And I don't think there's anything else that's coming up really short, but those are the big ones. And of course, we've got this is Saturday, so tonight we've got the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net immediately following the 2-meter net, and then we've got the upper sideband net at 144.240. So anybody have any questions about any of those things or more announcements? All righty. As all of you regulars know, there is a meter here on the display for you to see if you're on the web to look and see what's going on, but you can see what your signal strength is or what other people's is, at least to my station. Anyway, that's what that's there for. All righty, well, I guess we'll start taking check-ins. We're up first we're starting from the south tonight since we're going around the thing again, and from the south is I-40. Please come in.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Hey, Larry. Yeah, I forgot to mention we had, I think, 11 people there today. Larry, I was glad to see you today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be there. You know, the crowd was a little bit light, but I'm proud of it. I had more to eat.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. No, it was all right, big or small. It's whoever shows up. I mean, other things obviously come in. I know at least there was two people said they were going to be there. They couldn't be due to some illness, and another couple of people were going to be there, but they had to go out of town to get, with family issues, and another couple that just couldn't make it for whatever. Well, another, yeah, it was two or three or so. It's always something, especially when it's a weekend. People got other things to do besides show up for a stinking breakfast with a bunch of us hams.
Well, which was thinking of us or them?
I'm not going to say.
Okay, get on with it. KE4 as well.
Yeah, very good. That's Larry Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he's in Rockville with a great signal, and good for him to show up. The Rockville's a little bit of a trip up here for breakfast, but Larry's pretty consistent in showing up. Good to have you there, Larry. Who else we got south of 40?
KM4 CVA.
All right, there was a double in there, but I did hear Dan in there, and you were covering somebody else up, so your signal's big.
Well, again, we're 1.4 miles away from each other, and that makes for a great signal.
Well, yes, it does. And you're on your base station, of course.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, if you were on your handheld, you wouldn't be covering up anybody.
Not at all. But anyway, congratulations on 500 nets, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm actually only did, since I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, when I might have been out of town once week, but I only did about 496 of them. But so we got Eddie was in there, and Kevin's been in there, so both of those guys filled in, and you guys can talk among yourselves if I croak, so the net doesn't close because of me.
Yeah, well, I guess you're the reason it's still going and whatever, so congratulations again, back to you.
Yeah, we'll appreciate it. And again, I'm just thrilled that people find it useful to them and fun, and that there's lots of, and it's really funny when you look at the grand scale of things. You look at it and you go, oh my gosh, there's people that I would have never met before had it not been for me talking on Simplex or going to the breakfasts, or you just wouldn't know these people, and so it kind of opens up whole different avenues, and you don't even know the impact of it because people help each other out on the air, they help each other out at their homes. It's just kind of fascinating how dynamic that communication method is to everybody, or at least to some people anyway.
Well, that's true, and I met people that I wouldn't have, including you.
Well, me excluded. All right, very good, Dan. That's Dan. Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha. He's here in Mount Juliet, over here by Providence. Pretty good signal, considering he's got a limited way to get an antenna up, but he does a really good job locally here. And I know he can hear a lot of stations, at least in a 5 or 8 mile radius. So who else we got south? There was a double in there.
Have you foiled yet?
Ken, he doubled. He copied over. Was that you who doubled with Dan?
That could have been. He must be real strong tonight.
Yeah, I think so. So good to see you too, Eddie.
Yeah, it's always good time, have some fellowship of hams,
Yeah, it's a relatively small community, isn't it?
Well, we have some different ones come in, interesting to talk about radios, things of similar interest.
Oh yeah, no, people get. You're right. People have different interests, and it's good to talk about them because it changes it could change your opinion. If somebody said, "Hey, I like 220," and you go, "I never use 220," you might get excited about using 220 if you had a reason,
Yeah, well, yeah, congratulations on 500 Simplex. I don't know what you want to call them, Simplex Net.
Yeah, Simplex Nets, I guess. Well, it's as anybody who's been listening to the net, I'll just say I like to have fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do most things. Even work. Even work to me was fun usually when I worked for a living. And it's good to have fun with people, because if it's all just serious deadpan stuff, I get into the funeral business,
Yeah, that wouldn't be no fun.
No, but they make a lot of money though. No, you know what I'm getting at is it's not just me, obviously, because it's other people. There has to be other people on the air for us to have a net, and so I applaud each of you for being there, because everybody jumps in, everybody misses nights, including I have, But what makes the net great is everybody. It's not just me. Excuse me. If it was just me, well, if I was that interesting, I'd have my own TV show. I would. I don't think I've got much to say, really. All right, Eddie, appreciate you being in there. You've been a nice regular attender and and helped with the net, so I appreciate your help as well.
Well, all right. I don't mind helping when I can. And glad to be here. W4EBX.
Yeah, we probably have to put up a GoFundMe site to have you fix that rotor assembly thing you got on your beam.
Yeah, you wouldn't like that. I might have a bigger signal than you then.
Oh, that's all right. People with bigger and better signals, it's fine with me. No, that's great. I love to see everybody get better. All right, very good. That was Eddie. He's over there in Gladeville, Whiskey 4, Echo, Bravo, X-Ray. Who's next? South of 40.
K4IDC.
Hey, it was good to see you today. And Bruce, if he's listening, he never has gotten on the air. He's batting a 0 for showing up on the air.
He's not listening. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, see, I can't. There's no guarantees, man.
I enjoyed my omelet and the company.
Man, are you kidding me? I think it's like 50%. They said, do you want any bacon, sausage, in my Denver omelet? I said, no bacon or sausage, and just the omelet. And what do I get? They stuffed it full of bacon.
Well, they're trying to change you from your communist way.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just let's put it this way. I'm now, some people get a quart low, and I'm a quart high on oil.
I said one of my favorite spots last week. New on the menu was a breakfast pizza.
Oh my gosh, really? A breakfast pizza? What was on it?
All the usual stuff plus eggs and bacon. So I ordered one. I was feeling adventurous. And the woman behind the counter said, "I'm sorry, we're out of bacon." I looked at her and I said, we're in the United States, right?
That's funny though. There's an old joke about that kind of stuff. My father had corny, silly jokes. One of them was a restaurant that had, you can order anything you want. If we don't have it, it's free. And so he goes in, he figures he's got it. And he goes, I'd like a elephant ear on a bun. And the guy says, okay, sir, would you like Indian or African elephant? And the guy's like, oh my man. He goes, Indian, figuring that's the tougher one for some reason. And so the guy comes back in 10 minutes. He goes, I'm sorry, here, your meal is free. He goes, aha, knew you wouldn't have elephant. He goes, no, we ran out of buns. All right, very good. Enough of my jokes. That was Rob in Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie, and he's the unmuted him and Bruce showed up today. And Bruce, like I said, he shows up for breakfast, but he doesn't show up on the net. So it's just fun. Anyway, good to have you there, and it was good to see Rob. I mean, it's good to see Bruce as well. And that's Robin Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. He's south of me about 6 miles near Percy Priest Lake. Who else south of 40? Got nothing. Moving over to the east then. East of Mount Juliet. Please come out.
G4TW.
Hey, Wes, missed you at breakfast this morning, man.
Anyway, everything's good here.
Well, good. No, it was a good turnout anyway, but I was just saying that it's interesting how, like I said, other issues come before the breakfast and the nets, and I appreciate that. It's we got no rules, man. You don't have to ever show up if you don't want to.
So towers up, we got the rotor up.
Man, your signal is really scratchy today, boy. I caught 90% of that, but boy, is it rough due to conditions.
Oh my God, sir.
No, I know. Sometimes it's just a little bit better than others, but I know. I'm just saying that today's particularly scratchy for whatever reason. Might be all those storms and static crashes. But all right, very good. That was West Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. He's down there near Watertown. Who else we got south of 40 or east of Mount Juliet? Excuse me.
WA4SLHI.
Hey, James, you let Wes beat you in there, man.
I want to say who would do it.
Well, Wes made it. How you doing, James? I missed you at breakfast too.
I had to run a few family errands.
Oh, I know the feeling, man. No, you know the rules. Family comes first. I mean, radio is fun, but family is more important, obviously.
No, they let me know that too.
Yes, I'm familiar with the problem. My wife will do that. She'll say, "Well, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do something because you were on the radio." I go, "Look, you can anytime you want me off that radio, all you got to say so. I'm going. I don't have to be sitting in here when I could just be spending time with you doing something, whatever it is you'd like to do." But you know what I'm saying? You can't ever let it drive you to spend time away from your family and your children. Yeah.
Yeah, we know better than that, don't we?
Well, I think I do. I mean, I really do endeavor because if it's just not that important. So every once in a while, she goes, "Well, you were on the radio." I go, "I don't have to be on. All you have to say is, hey, come on, let's go do whatever it is she wants to do. And I'll do it. You know, it's not a big deal. I'd hate to see a divorce. Oh, how come you're getting divorced? Well, because of Simplex Radio. Be a nice excuse, huh?
Yeah, but that's nice that she offered.
Yeah, that's right. Well, very good, James. That's James. Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, one of our earlier, not earliest, but earlier. I don't know, you're almost 5 years in, aren't you, James?
Yeah, it was, I think it was December the 7th. What year was that? 2014?
Well, it's 5 years ago this coming September. So, yeah, we were in 2014, December. You're right. And it's hard to believe it's been that long, and we've had this many nets. Quite honestly, it really is kind of cracks me up.
Yeah, I think I got your message in the mail and I set up to listen in.
Yeah. Did you listen to a net before you jumped in?
I don't remember. That's a long time ago.
I know. I can't remember that there's 500 nets. It seems unbelievable. You know, I've been on the air in Mount Juliet with this net longer than I was in the military. You know, it seems funny.
That's back when I had my old radios. A link code was about to go dead, and it finally did go dead.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're doing fine though. In fact, you always did fine until the radio died.
Yeah, then I went to the walkie-talkie and it died about a month later.
Remind me not to lend you any equipment.
Oh, come on.
All right, that was James, one of our big participants over the years. Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, and he's right here in Mount Juliet. Who else? East, please come in.
Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo.
Hey, there's Mr. Cross. I can hit Crossville Richard.
Yeah, I can know, and I'm proud of it. But anyhow, hope everybody had a good day. Stayed cool. Sorry I wasn't at breakfast, but under the circumstances, y'all wouldn't even want to be down there where I feel. But anyway, y'all carry on. Thanks for what you have done and what you continue to do, and I couldn't be more happy about it. KI4SIB back to net.
Just think, Richard, if it hadn't been for the pressure you applied to yourself to do better in Simplex, you would have never you've never talked to Crossville, and you would probably never talked to checking into the Bowling Green Simplex Net.
I probably wouldn't have gotten much more than across the street.
Well, yeah, no, I just don't know. I know what I'm saying is the impact that we have on each other to do better. It changes the hobby, what we're interested in the hobby, and it kind of, it opens up new horizons for me. I'm not the guru of ham radio here. It's just, and listening to other people who know more, who do more, who have much wider experience than I do. It's fun to do that. And that's one of the reasons I like to get with people like yourself and anybody else, because even new people who are brand new to ham radio can bring interesting insights into what's going on. They'll say, hey, I tried this. And you go, man, I haven't tried that in 10 years,
Yeah, they make you rethink some of your positions on some things and want you to make you want to increase your capability. So, yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, very good. That's Richard, another long-time subscriber, so to speak. We don't have any rules about who shows up or when, but it's nice to have people who've been with it for a while. That's Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo, who's made tremendous gains from he actually had a single wire antenna when he first came on. That was that single wire J-pole, wasn't it,
Richard? Yeah, it was.
Now, he had a bad signal one time when I told him, and he goes, huh, Should be better than that. I said, yeah, it should be. It sounded really, really, really weak. And then he came on later or the next time and he goes, yeah, one of the wires fell off the J pole. Anyway, that's kind of how we know when we're doing good and bad, because somebody's got it. It's kind of nice. That's one of the reasons that the net is good, because it helps people understand how they're doing. All right, very good, Richard. Appreciate you being there all these years. Who else is next? Where was I? East, please come in.
Kilo 4 Whiskey United.
Hey, haven't heard from you in a couple of nets. How are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing, Paul? And congratulations on 500.
Well, there'd be only 4 or 5 if people didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's not just me, obviously. I mean, I'm here and I've been regular at it, and somebody, in order to have a net, you have to have somebody, it's like kind of like that movie, if they will, that one about baseball. If you build it, they will come. And there is I've seen a pent up demand, not a demand, but, people enjoy gravitating toward it if they're interested in Simplex.
Yeah, it's like, it's very similar to HamQuest, as you were part of the first one in its success. So, now we hit our 4th year, and, it's continues to be liked. And I'm like you, we do it for the ham in the community. That's what we do it for, the hams in the community.
Oh, you mean, wait a minute, you're making money at this? Because I'm not.
No, we're not making anything. We probably lose more than we gain, but the price paid is people being happy and enjoying themselves, and we're promoting the hobby.
Oh, I know. It's kind of funny. I'm used to that, and I know you're used to it. Over the years, I've worked for a lot of nonprofit. Doesn't make me technically any money at all. I just might even make me some enemies. I don't know. But I had a guy, Ham, down in Florida. Nice guy, knowledgeable guy. And I mentioned about doing something that was, wasn't being paid for, and it took a fair amount of my time. And he's going, "You do that for nothing?" I go, wow, what big deal. I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it for other people. That's all.
Yeah, roger that. Hey, we I don't know if you've heard that we've announced the grand prize for HamQuest. It's going to be a Yaesu FT70DR. It's a 5-watt handheld with system fusion on it, built at mil spec and water protected, and a very nice grand prize this year.
Yeah, it is nice. That's the one that's analog and fusion, right?
Roger.
Oh yeah, that's a nice little radio. That's the FT70 Delta Romeo, right?
That's correct. And we also have a $100 coupon for it would be for DX Engineering, and the Wireman. We've got a coupon for $50. So we got some nice prizes this year.
Now the Wireman, is he going to be there?
No, unfortunately, he was unable to make it this year. I'm hoping to get him in next year. He had a commitment already, but he came back to us and he gave us the $50 coupon. So hope to see him next year.
Awesome. Well, yeah, he'd be a great addition to the HamQuest, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, I've been trying to get him for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's a conflict with the with his time and schedule. He already has an event during that weekend, so we'll keep working on him. He's definitely, this is the first year we got a coupon from him, so we're making some headway.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to call in. I think I know somebody who can kind of change the schedule, if you know what I'm saying.
There you go. We appreciate that.
All right. Well, very good, Bill. Bill was just announcing at the HamQuest, they've got the grand prize is a Yaesu FT70DR Delta Romeo handheld. That's an analog and fusion radio handheld, and that's a nice prize. I wouldn't mind picking that up myself. Of course, I already have 3 HTs, so I'm not sure I need another one. One of them's fusion, not one of them, DMR, and then a couple of analogs. And it's got 220 on one that I don't think I've ever talked to. Anyway, good to have you in there, Bill. That's Kilo 4 Whiskey Uniform, and that's Bill. He's over in Possum Town, right?
That's correct.
Man, I got a really not awesome memory. I do remember that, though. Hey, by the way, I was somewhere looking on the web, and there's a town called Possum Town. I forgot where it was. It was somewhere else in the country. It would just crack me up. There was another one.
Hey, we got our own Christmas parade every year here, and it's a fairly good one if you got 5 minutes to watch it.
You got a Christmas what?
Christmas parade. I'm serious. It goes right through Possum Town, and it actually draws some people.
Oh, that's great. No, it's nice to have a community like that. I always often wondered since you told me about it that is it right next to Roadkill, Tennessee?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I see a lot of that on the road.
Yeah, very good. All right, appreciate you checking in and telling us about that the HamQuest grand prize, the FT70DR. That was KK4WU, Bill in Possum Town. Who else? East, please come in.
Okay, I'm Corey T.
Hey, Stan, how are you today?
Doing well, Paul. How about yourself?
I am doing pretty fantastic. It was so hot out this afternoon. Again, I thought it was going to cool off a little bit, but I didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I got pretty warm out in the yard myself.
I'm just glad it's supposed to cool off in a day or two, I think, so it'll be in the mid 80s or something, which will be a little better.
Yeah, when they get some rain off of that tropical storm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just be happy if it gets cool off. I mean, that's summers. I lived in Florida for 36 years, and the summers there killed me. But there's 3 other seasons where it was pretty nice, just like here.
Yeah, I kind of like the fall myself.
Yeah, I know it. Cooler. Well, for me, the cooler the better. But that's my Russian, German, Polish, Eastern European, and English background. Heinz 57.
Yeah, Roger. I kind of like the cold myself too.
All right, Stan. Good to have you in there. Stan's been on the net quite a while himself. That's Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo. He's over just a little bit north of Lebanon. Very active HF ham. I don't know how much. I don't know. Do you get on any other 2-meter nets or simplex nets?
No, I've been trying to get something going on 6 meters so I can do some meteor scatter and some of that kind of stuff. But HF and hopefully 6 meters soon.
Cool. Very. What kind of antenna are you going to use on 6 meters?
Moxon.
Aha. Did you ever do research beyond the basic Moxon? Can you stack those things or not? Because I've seen some literature, but not very much.
I don't know. The one I have is one I built from I have the ARL book, the antennas for 6 meters, a 90 band, or whatever it's called.
And you're putting it up horizontally, is that correct?
Roger.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to do. I'd like to see, because I built a couple of those. You may have heard me say that before on 70 centimeters and 2 meters, and they work fine. They're just nice little antennas. They don't take up much space. But I'd love to see them if they could stack those and get even more gain off of those 2-element beams.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a Yagi, I guess, is really what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Except I've never seen anybody try to do something else except for the director and the reflector,
No, I haven't either. The hex beam is sort of like that. I mean, it's sort of a bit 2-element Yagi.
Right. Yeah, there's enough ways to skin the cat, that's for sure. All right, very good, Stan. There was Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo. Again, just a little bit north of Lebanon. Good to have you in there, Stan. Who else? East, please come in. Then we'll move to the north of Mount Juliet, north of Lebanon Road. Please come in.
KB9RKK.
You don't have any noise on your signal today.
That's good. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great. Somebody mentioned that to you on was it on another net? They were hearing noise and you go, what the heck?
Yeah, it was my headset. I'm not sure if the headset's causing it, but I'm using the desk mic. But then that was on the Tuesday net, and it was on the UHF that they were hearing the noise.
Yeah, I think that's the one I was hearing. You're right. It's kind of stuff you got to track down to figure out what it is because it's not always obvious.
Well, I tore everything apart. I didn't use my radio for field day, but I, borrowed the coax jumpers and everything. So I kind of had everything, ripped out. So when I put it back, it's not back exactly the right way. I kind of did it hastily, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these noises. So I'm like, let me check all these coax connectors.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Yeah, no, it's good for us to be, checking on each other too, because I know that, I've had people go, "Hey, something happened to your signal. What's going on?" I said, "I don't know. Let me look," and then I'd find out, "Oh yeah, I got something going on. I did something wrong."
Oh yeah, yeah. Just was all day outside in the garage today, cleaning up, and I did, same as everybody else was saying. I thought it was going to be cooler, but it didn't turn out that way. Till the rain started.
So you got rain, we got nothing. So I'm not looking forward to it though, because if it rains and it's hot weather, I got to be out mowing every 5 days or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still raining now, but that's when I said, okay, I'm done. We'll put everything back in. I was just cleaning everything out. I got to make room for. I'm going to get rid of the storage unit, so I had to rearrange everything so I could all fit it in there.
I got you. Well, very good. That's Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo, Kilo. He's in Northwest Wilson. Good signal, good strong signal. And that's the antenna where now? Where do you have that antenna, Frank?
It is a J-pole in the attic right now.
Yeah, we just have a good path here, and you're only, I don't know, I'm going to say 6-7 miles away, so it's not real critical, but yeah, you sound good. You must have your elevation is obviously pretty decent. Anyway, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo, Kilo, Frank in Northwest Wilson. Who else north? Please come in. I think I heard Brian in there first. He was the weaker, or the stronger of the two weak signal. How you doing, Brian? Yeah, I caught some of that, Brian, but not much because it's really, it's kind of up and down because you only got the 5 watts on that thing. But I am. It gets sometimes it's up and down, but it's not too bad for a hand, for 5 watts. Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there, Brian. That was Brian. That's Whiskey 4 Delta Bravo Victor, and he is also in Northwest Wilson, but he's due to some equipment issues and lightning. Well, I'll just say lightning on his equipment issues. He's down to 5 watts on the same antenna, but that's a little it's trouble because he's in a kind of a pit where he lives. He's in a low elevation. Doesn't make it fun on FM anyway. All right, very good, Brian. It was good to have you in there. Whiskey 4 Delta Bravo Victor. Who else was in there? Hey, you got a good signal coming in tonight, Steve.
Thank you, sir. I see you have a brown appendage hanging on your head.
Well, if you can believe it, I don't know if you can see the other one on the floor next to me, and there's another one behind me in the chair. I can't even lean back because he's laying in the chair behind me. So I got 3 of them, and I don't know where the 4th one is. Oh, he's laying. You can't see him. He's about 8 feet away.
Oh Lord, I thought I had a dog problem.
Oh, they're not a problem. They're whenever my wife she went out when I got on the air or just before I got on the air. Whenever I go, they all gravitate towards me and like hang on for fear. Please don't leave me.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Me and the wife just got back from Chicago, so we had a really good trip up and back.
Awesome. How did the Cubbies do?
We won. It was a nail biter. The game that we went to the game today. It was pretty much over in the first and third inning.
Oh yeah, that's great. Jim. I don't think you've met. I know you haven't met Jim, but he's another guy. He just bought that Honda. Oh gosh, he got a Gold Wing down there. I don't think I remember I told you about him, but he was telling me yesterday, I think it was, that his mother, she grew up with the Yankees, and she even she follows the Yankees, and I'm guessing she's 70 something. I don't know how old she actually is. And he says she talks as though she owns the team. She says, I don't know why we got rid of just fill in the blank. I don't know why they're making calls like I don't know why I don't know why we didn't pick it. It's like what's this we crap. Yeah, no, but that's no. People grow an affinity for their team that they like, and that's nothing wrong with that at all. It makes for fun. don't remember, where is that stadium physically in reference to Chicago downtown?
North, west.
Okay. I was never in that stadium. I was in what do you call it there, Soldier Field, but that's not a baseball. I don't think it is. But anyway, I didn't think it was on the south side of Chicago because nobody'd go.
No, that's commission.
Ah, okay. I didn't realize where that one was either. Okay, very good, Steve. I appreciate you checking in. That was Steve up there north of Bowling Green, who also has a net on Tuesday nights on 146.430. That's 146.430. Tuesday nights at 7:30. He's had as many as 20 something, so he's doing a good job up there. And they obviously like Simplex as well up in southern Kentucky, and well, anywhere who anybody wants to talk to him from Tennessee. That's Kilo 4 Whiskey Kilo Uniform. Good to have you in there, Steve, and I appreciate you checking in from Kentucky. Who else? North, please come on. Anybody else north?
W4DTC.
Hey, good evening. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Paul. I was hoping I'd be your 500 check-in for the evening, but maybe a little short. But I appreciate what you're doing. Hope I'm making it there okay. I'm in Studio B here with little HT.
Oh, yeah, you're doing fine. I wasn't looking at the meter because I can't see it unless I'm looking at the screen, and I wasn't watching the screen when you were talking. No, you've got a good signal, good audio, and off of an HT, but then you're just up in Gallatin, so I don't, you're not doing too bad to me. You're just using 5 watts, are you?
Actually, I think it may be 8 or something on one of these little bow fangs here, but yeah, this little HT. Actually, hear a little thunder out here. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm still hooked up. But again, thanks for doing it, Paul. Appreciate it, and everything you do for the community and ham radio and Simplex. W4DTC.
Yeah, very good, David. Well, let's put it this way. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I mean, the reason I started the net was kind of for me in the sense that I wanted to gather up people in the community to have somebody to talk to other than going to repeaters that are on the other side of Nashville or in Gallatin or Madison or Crossville, or you know what I'm saying. It's just, yeah, you're chasing down. I'm not saying I don't like other people, but you're chasing down people that aren't in your community. The odds of me meeting somebody who's over in the far side of way north or way south or way west are pretty slim, and it's more a sense of community on Simplex, because it's just people get together and you get to know each other rather than you don't really get to know too many people on a repeater.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. We've got, as you probably know, pretty elaborate system up here in Sumner County, but and other than Tuesday nights or something for the nets, nobody uses all this equipment up here.
Yeah, no, that's a pity. It's obvious for an obvious reason. It's not as if they don't want to or they refuse to. It's just that I don't know what it is. I can't explain. No, it's hard for me to explain. The story I wanted to tell you. This friend of mine, when the Bowfangs first came out with that 8-watt, he was laughing because he didn't like Bowfangs. He thought they were trash. And they're not really trash. They're just cheap radios, and they work great. And he says, "Yeah, 8 watts. Yeah, sure." He goes, 4 watts on FM and 4 watts on 2 meters and 4 watts on 70 centimeters.
Well, trust me, I've got a few of them around here, but the reason I'm on it because I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not exactly sure why, but I had a Kenwood D74. It's a $500 HT, and it puked last night on me, and so that's the reason I picked this back up. It still works, but anyways, I'm not going to hold you up. Thanks again. W4DTC, back to net.
Yeah, very good, David. Good to have you in there. And that's David. He's up in Gallatin on an HT. If you can't hear him, that's why. But he's doing fine. His other machine apparently had some issues. His 50-watt machine, that is. Yeah, I've told this story before in the air, but one of the big repeaters down in Florida where I lived it was on like 3. If you ever look it up, it's November India 4. Charlie Echo, and the NI4CE is the name of the repeater system. And at the time, it was on 3 or 4 big commercial towers linked together. And my gosh, if you got up on there, you were talking over most of probably 1/3 of the state of Florida. It was just huge. And of course, Florida doesn't have that much height, so it travels well when you get commercial towers. And when they'd have an Aries net on that repeater system, they were lucky to get 6 check-ins. And you think, how can you have so few check-ins on a repeater system that covers, 1,000,000 square miles? It's because people, I don't know, I think it actually frightens people to realize they're talking over half the state, and it just doesn't have a lot of value. I mean, for instance, I don't monitor the M-tier system, but when I have, it seems like there's not a lot of activity on a whole statewide system. And it doesn't seem to have much utility value to say, hey, you want to get together for lunch and you're talking to the whole state. It just doesn't. Maybe that's why people don't use the big repeaters. I don't know. Anyway, and on the flip side of that, I made a trip to New York 2 weeks ago, and I called out repeatedly for 2,000 miles. It's about 1,000 up and about 1,000 back on 5.2, and never got one reply, not one anywhere between here and New York City. So I don't know. All right, we just need more. That's why what we're doing here is fun, because it's actually, here we get 20 to 30 people, plus there's other listeners, plus there's people that could be here but can't for whatever reason with their family issues or whatever. So there's a lot of active users here, a lot of active listeners, and I think that it makes for a lot of fun. This is a lot more fun than, you never hear this kind of activity on a repeater, or rarely. Let me qualify that. All right, David, good to have you in there. That's Whiskey 4 Delta Tango Charlie, and he's in Gallatin. Who else north? I heard something break the squelch. Is there somebody there? Might have been just lightning. I don't know. All right, then we're moving over to the west. West, please come in.
KN4TJM.
Yeah, there was a couple in there, but I heard Chris in there first. I think it was CXE was in there.
Yeah, were you talking to me, Paul?
Yes, Chris. That's Chris, right? CXE?
Yep, copy. That's me.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You came back so fast, I thought you were talking to somebody else, and I might have doubled. Yeah, how's it going tonight?
It's going great. We had a nice little breakfast. You're going to make it over there one of these days.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was up at probably 7 something this morning, getting ready to do a little bit of work at some facility in Kentucky, actually, since we were talking about Kentucky nets and various things. But yeah, I was like, man, I wonder what they're doing over at that breakfast right now. I wonder if they're solving all the world's problems as planned.
Now, we actually don't solve existing problems. We solve future problems.
Hey, at least you're making an effort, right?
Yeah, we make up problems and then we solve them. It's a lot easier because nobody knows they exist.
Hey, if that keeps you busy and you're happy with it, right? But also, on another note, congratulations on 500. That's really cool. It's good to have someone out there kind of spearheading or trying to keep Simplex popular, so that's really awesome. I wanted to throw that out there. And speaking of that FT70DR, that's actually the radio that got me back into ham radio. There's a couple of Yaesu fusion systems around here, and one of them is out in Cool Springs, and talked to a couple of people on there, but it's a fun radio. It's got great audio, so that'd be an awesome door prize for somebody that wins that.
Oh yeah, no, it's funny. Yaesu in 2004, whenever D-Star came out in 2004, 2005, I realized, and you look over time, there isn't, that I'm aware of, very much traffic on D-Star locally. There may be on, the web links, going through the system, so to speak, going through the mainframe, wherever they call that darn thing. There may be a traffic there, but there's not much that I'm aware of D-Star Simplex or Simplex repeater in this area. There may be, I'm just not aware of it. But in the same thing, and I wondered why, other than the cost. And then when you looked at what Yaesu did with Fusion, they said, okay, look, all you guys got existing repeaters, you want to upgrade to a Fusion, it's $500. Oh man, look how many Fusion repeaters went. I think I can think of 1, 2, at least 4, just that I can think of right off the top of my head in this area. And I bet you there's 20 in the state, in the middle Tennessee, easily.
Yeah, there's not a ton of traffic on it, but it is cool to hear people using it. I heard a couple of people using it today. I don't know if I'm supposed to take the node and point it towards the America link, but I like to listen to the net. Actually, it's going on right now over there, and there's some cool contacts. I talked to someone to like New Zealand. I talked to another guy in Japan. So there's some neat things going on with that. And, when I bought this rig and the first rig I got, I said, analog was around when I got into radio the first time, and I said, why not go ahead and get something that's probably going to be part of the future? And I've always been a Yaesu guy, so getting a dual mode, radio was just like a no-brainer, and that FT70 is pretty cool.
Yeah, I never looked it up. I don't know how I would exactly, but I was wondering, for instance, on the Yaesu wires, which I never did anything on wires, nothing, even though I have a couple of Yaesu radios. And then I looked up how many wires connection nodes there were in this country. I went, oh, that doesn't seem like very many. Then I looked at Japan. It's like the whole islands of Japan are covered with wires, and now I'm confident they're covered with fusion.
Yeah, I'm sure it's manufactured. Well, it's at least designed there. I think some of it's manufactured in China, but it's quality stuff, and they do a great voice over IP. That's basically what it is. It's taking this analog signal, converting it into ones and zeros, and shipping it across the internet. And their algorithm, not to go too deep on it, but it seems to be the one that has the best error correction. So the voice comes across pretty clear, and it is absolutely quiet in the background. So it's just another cool way to communicate, and that's what we're all about on here, right?
Oh yeah, no question about it. I just don't know if it will ever. I don't know if it. I'm getting too old to know what's going to happen in 25 years, but I can't. I guess it could take over analog, but I don't think it will.
I don't think so either. I think that there's too many components to make that go into effect. Well, I take that back. I can't speak to that completely, right? I've never done Simplex with digital. I'm not sure how that would pan out, but as far as analog goes, it's not going anywhere. Look how long it's been around.
Oh yeah, well you figure here we are. You'd think that Simplex was dead, and we put up like Steve up there in Kentucky, and us here in Middle Tennessee, and we put up these Simplex nets, and all of a sudden people gravitate toward it. Now think if somebody started a fusion net, see what would happen. Simplex.
That would be cool. I think I would try to at least listen to it. I don't know how the propagation of that signal is versus the analog signal, but it'd be cool. Speaking on, I was taking some notes on the topics I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it's less personal on those repeaters, right? Those big networks that are just spanning a whole state. It's almost feels like you might not should use it because it's for an emergency purpose. You were mentioning M-tiers, but you can use it, but there's so many other repeaters around that aren't being used. I think people just kind of go away from that. I
agree. I think it's a scary. I knew I didn't like to get on that repeater system there. One of the big repeaters in that area, well, it was two that were actually very well used at the time in the west coast of Florida. One was in Tampa on a 35-story building, and another one was on a commercial tower. And both of them, for their day, had lots of use, but it's one of those things where, I don't know, it doesn't happen all the time, but a repeater becomes a focal point for a whole bunch of people. In this case, I would say on that one repeater, there was probably upwards of 50 regular users. You could just, you heard them on over and over again. And it was really funny because the repeater owner would even tell, he gave statistics on that repeater on Friday nights and Saturday nights, between the hours like 6 and 2 in the morning, it had like a 90% usage rate for those hours, because it was just one thing after another, people telling stupid stories and ragging on each other and semi-arguing and opinioning between each other. It was actually quite fun to listen to and even get on if you could.
Yeah, it does sound fun, but that's a lot of traffic, personally.
Oh, believe me, it was fun to listen to though, because some of the guys were really, I'm pretty sure some were drinking on the air, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that can lead to some crazy topics and sometimes high blood pressure. All right, man. Well, I'll back out of here. 73C again. Congratulations on 500. Glad to be a part of it as well. And KG4 CXE.
Yeah, we'll have to call it the Mount Juliet 500. Very good, Chris. That was Chris. Kilo Golf 4 Charlie X-Ray Echo. He's over in Nashville. K4 PEW at the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Anybody else north? Please come down. Then we'll go over to the west, or we were in the west. That's where we were. West, please come on. Say again if that was somebody. I didn't catch it. There was a little blast.
I think you meant to say West, WI4G.
Hey, how are you doing today, Jeff?
I'm tired. Had a busy day, busy week, so just trying to unwind.
Well, in your job, how cool can you be with that door open and closing?
Not very, but just learn to deal with it.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm telling you, you do something I don't know if I could do it. That's a hard job.
I've been at it for 30 years, but it's not that bad. He's got a lot of just say nonsense to deal with, but not too many jobs where you don't have that, but it's something to do.
Yeah, well, dealing with the public is never a fun. Well, it can be fine. Don't misunderstand. But as you know, I mean, but not everybody's as civil as other people are.
Especially when they get zoned out on something and just let's say the unstable ones that are out and about.
Yeah, whenever I see that kind of a job, I'm sure you've seen them, but I don't think Nashville has any. Those are those buses they're articulated in the middle, or whatever they call that kind of a bus, that's got two sections.
We do have them, a lot of them. They are called articulated. They're in use.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you can see how much I get downtown. I've seen them, in some of the bigger cities, and you go, oh my gosh, what a traffic mess that would be driving one of those in like a New York City or Chicago.
Well, actually, it's kind of easier to drive in a straight, 40-foot one or whatever, because since it does bend in the middle, it takes corners a little easier, but you gotta get used to it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's true. Yeah, I got a kick. I don't think I told you. When I was in New York City, we went through the Lincoln Tunnel, which I hadn't been in I don't know, 50 something years. And it was packed. I mean, bumper to bumper, maybe 12 miles an hour, because it was so busy that Friday afternoon and going into the city. And it was amazing to me because the tunnel is fairly narrow, 2-lane. I mean, it's a very narrow. Let's put it this way, there's no breakdown lane in that tunnel, and it's just right up against the wall. And here's these other buses, and principally I saw buses, the big, Greyhounds or whatever, big buses in that thing. And oh my gosh, just one little accident or a breakdown, man, it would be hell in there.
I'm sure it would. I'm not, I haven't been in any type of situations like that, tunnels or whatever, but of course we don't have that here really. But it's, you just I don't know, best I can say, you get used to it, just deal with it.
Oh yeah, it's like any job. Maybe at first it seems like a big mess, or you just learn to deal with the problems of any given job. But anyway, I appreciate what you do, because I know it's a hard job driving a transit bus for certain, especially as long as you've done it. Obviously, you're pretty good at it. I don't know if I'd be that good. I'd get frustrated and I'd be smacking people around. But anyway, that was Jeff, Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf. He lives up in Madison. They got a great signal, Jeff. Good to have you in there. Who else? West or north? Please come in.
5 TAW.
TAW. Say again.
Yeah, this is David, 10-5 TAW in Madison.
Oh, I was pretty sure it was. I heard the TAW, and I want to make sure I heard it right. How you doing, David?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. It's out in the heat sun today. Didn't like that. Its car was showing about 96, I think, or 97 and some points there. Didn't like that. But yeah, y'all talking about the digital radios and everything. We use the digital mode in the Civil Air Patrol communications quite a bit. We've been doing that for some years now. Some people like it, some people don't. It's Project 25 digital. It's not stuff used in the ham bands, but it takes some getting used to. It's got its ups and downs and its quirks, and sometimes you have to switch to analog because digital just not cutting it. It can't handle weak signal work, and it makes a big difference sometimes. It sounds great. I love it. It sounds like the person's in the next room with you, but you just got some quirks.
Yeah, no, so I'm told, and I've heard that too. Now we were talking about a little bit about P25 at the breakfast this morning, which I've never used it, and I understand what it is, at least in principle. The problem is that the radios aren't real cheap, and like you said, there's some issues, I guess, with propagation under some conditions. But it's what's funny to me about it is that I also told in Sumner there's a lot of people on P25 or P25 repeaters or Simplex. I don't know which.
I don't know. It's very, very possible. I spend most of my time talking over on 220, so I don't get around on VHF too much. I know you mentioned 220 earlier down the radio, and you never talk on it. I talk on it all the time. It's kind of the best of both worlds of VHF and UHF kind of combined. But yeah, the digital is, and we use digital from our aircraft too, and I think that causes some problems. FM mode will multipath on you, and I think when it starts multipathing a little bit and you're on digital, I think it struggles to keep up. But I'll tell you what, we got Motorola Quantar repeaters that we can take up in our aircraft, that size of a decent sized suitcase, and put them in the back seat of our planes, and we can take a repeater up to 10,000 feet. You're talking about being afraid to broadcast to a large audience. That's broadcasting to several states.
Oh, I imagine that's true. You guys back up with another, like an analog frequency?
Yeah. The radios we're using mostly EF Johnson's, although we're beginning transition over to Motorola's. They're dual mode radios, so as long as you're using another dual mode radio, one person can be analog, and the other one can be digital, which comes in handy. Our aircraft are not, but all of our ground units can do that, and the repeaters can automatically do it also.
Right. I just wondered how that would work because obviously, well, that's one of the difficulties. I guess one of my initial questions when I first got into ham radio 15 years ago, when they told me about digital and I heard it, I went, yeah, but I can't hear anybody ID. How do I know who's transmitting if they're interfering with me or vice versa? I can't tell who they are. So it added a question there that's never been answered. You can't ID them.
Yeah, I guess that's right. We don't ever have enough traffic to worry about that problem. Now, of course, the radios can self-ID when you're on digital. Each one of them has a unique ID, and you can see who's calling. But signal does have to make it in there for it to happen.
No, I understand, and I'm just saying it. And then I hear one of the complaints I heard this morning. I've heard it before about digital. Is if you have a scanner, if you're a scanner listener or you actively are scanning, your scanner stops on that frequency, even though you can't tell what the heck is on there. It says, well, just take it out of the memory.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can monitor digital stuff all day. You just don't know what they're saying. So it's not encryption. Some people think it's encryption, but it's really not. It's just the receiver can't handle it. So you just hear the noise, whether it's fusion or D-Star or P25 or whatever. But yeah, if I can ever remember the Saturday eating meetings there, I can bring some P25 gear with me and kind of show it off a little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be good. And on one of the breakfasts, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
All right, well, very good. That's David. He's also in Madison. And November 5, Tango Alpha Whiskey. Good signal here. Of course, it's not hard out of Madison or up there on the other side of the lake. To me, we do real well. But anyway, N5 TAW, and that's David, Madison. Who else? West or north? Hey there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I skipped over you, even though I heard you in there earlier, Rick.
Hey man, how you doing?
I was just trying to avoid you.
I don't blame you after that breakfast.
No, not really. No, it's always good to see whoever shows up. It really is. There's nobody I wouldn't want to see, well, except for the bill collectors.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, congrats on the 500 here. Kind of cool being part of the Net 500.
I think so. It's like I said, it's a a milestone I would have never considered that we would hit. Never even thought about it until we were around four. I don't know. I counted up the nets and I said, "Dang, we're getting close to 500." I never kept track until a couple of months ago.
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool. I'm glad I'm part of it. How's my signal anyway?
Your signal. I wasn't looking at the meter on the screen. Let me look over there. But you were good audio from where you are. You're doing great.
Okay, yeah, I just got a lot of noise tonight. A lot of stuff. I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't know if it was me or something else.
Well, we have a penalty for those who are. That's a 9mm. Could you copy that, Rick?
I did not. What was that?
it's a recording of a 9mm being fired.
Oh, I did. Then yes, I did.
Yeah, and then I had and then of course because you're on the air, we're going to give you a special award here.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank my producer and.
Yeah, no, I had some recordings here. It's illegal to do recorded music, but I don't think it's illegal to do recorded sound effects. If that were true, we'd all be off the air.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, how could they decipher which is which? I think it's awesome.
All right, well, very good, Rick. Good to have you in there. Rick is all the way over in Ashland City. Got a nice station over there that gets out real well, and it's just into some terrain issues between me and him and some other stations. He's doing fantastic, and he's only been in ham radio, I don't know how long, 5 months, 4 months.
Yeah, about almost 5.
Yeah, you're doing great. All right, Rick, good to have you in there. It was good to see you at breakfast with your brother. Always glad to see another active ham in there. Who else we got? And then again, it's Kilo November 4 Tango Juliet Whiskey in Ashland City. Who else we got? West, please come in.
KM4 YRF, but don't shoot.
Yeah, maybe we'll give you the. I got another one in there. This is another. Yeah, it's a score.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, it was good to see you and your brother in there today.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Congratulations on net number 500. I'm really, really happy to be a part of that, and appreciate all your hard work.
Well, like I said, it's not really work if you're enjoying what you're doing. You know the deal.
Oh, yeah, very well.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it was really all about me at the beginning. I just wanted more people to talk to, and can't do that if nobody's on the air. And to get people on the air, you can't give up, I guess is the right word to say it. You have to it's like starting a business in a certain sense, because everybody doesn't flock to your doors just because you open up a business. You have to go out, and it's a progressive thing to get more and more and more and more. And hopefully you have something that's worth selling, that people want. And in this case, hey, I got a cake. I showed somebody when I was up in New York. I said, you can see a picture of me on the net. And they went, what? These people didn't know anything about ham radio. I go, yeah. He goes, oh, you do a like a YouTube blog, YouTube on air, like a radio station. I said, well, it takes about an hour. He goes, wow, and he turns it on his big screen TV, digital TV. And he goes, how many people? I go, about maybe 25. He goes, they thought it was funny. I said, but well, keep in mind, we're not trying to reach a mass audience here. We're talking to reaching the hams who are interested in what we're doing. It has very little to do with the general public.
Well, and that's true. And what we do is fun and makes everybody want to be a part of it.
Well, yeah, and it's funny. It isn't, as they use in the marketing business, it isn't scalable in the sense that even if there's lots of other people interested in Simplex in all over the world, wherever they are. It doesn't matter what area we're talking about. So, but again, people in New York aren't going to watch this unless they have some connection to us. And nobody in California is going to sit down and watch these every week, twice a week. I wouldn't watch theirs for that matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a local thing. It's really just us and maybe some other people who, hey, somebody actually holds a net and they have it on YouTube, and maybe we'll do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I have a message from you for you from Mary. I talked to her by text a little bit ago, and she is said to tell you she's sorry she couldn't check in on net number 500, and Marty's at his brother-in-law, so he couldn't check in tonight. But they're thinking about you.
Well, good. I hope Mary's doing all right. Is she getting out of the hospital today?
No, don't think so. She might be in there for another day or two.
Well, I want to let her go until she gets better.
All right. Okay, Paul, that's all I got. I'll say back to that.
All right, very good, Michael. That was Michael, Kilo Mike 4, Yankee, Romeo Foxtrot, and he was just passing a message along from a text relay. That's what it is, a text relay via the Simplex Net that Marty and Mary, and that's KD4, I think it's OEN and KD4BQK. She's in the hospital with some, I believe, a kidney infection of some kind. And Marty, because he has some issues with, sight impaired, he's living with one of his relatives. Well, his wife's in the hospital. So they can't check in, and she was wanting to do that and sending her regards. Anybody else west, please come in. Okay, a little fuzzy there, but it's KN4, which one? It's got to be Joey, right? Who is this? Got nothing. Say again, please. KN4. Oh, really rough. Is anybody copying that station, please? Anybody?
I got nothing.
Okay, there must be over on this side somewhere. Anybody copying that last station? Please come again. I'm sorry, I can't copy it. If I turned it up, I just go deaf. But golly, nobody else can hear that. Is it PQX? All right, my memory's gone bad. The station, I'll look you up. Forget it. Oh, don't tell me because I won't be able to hear it. Hold on. Yeah, it's Joey. That's who I thought it was. You didn't answer me when I said Joey. Oh, I'm sorry. Victor Kilo X-ray. I'm writing. It's funny. I typed in. That's so funny. It's like phonetically, I typed it in what I heard and not what I actually the reality about that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, a lot of that was not very good. A lot of static. If you can hear it on the net, it's really, really slim there, Andrew.
Well, I think I'll be buying a cheap HP that's better than the $200 one that I already purchased.
Well, again, it's all going to be in the antenna. I mean, I realize you're in Brentwood. In Brentwood, if the antenna's high enough, I work some other stations there, and they're just killer signals. But that's because they got them up 40 feet in the air or something, and they don't have to have great radios, just better antennas,
Well, I did upgrade it to a diamond antenna.
No, I got it. It really wouldn't matter because I wouldn't care really whether it was a wash on or a Bullfang or a TYT. They'll get out well. I mean, for all things considered, they're going to get out fine. It's really all in the antenna and the height of the antenna. And you're doing all right. I heard most of that last transmission very well, but I think we've got some storm conditions that are butting into our signals here. But no, I'm copying you good when you're strong. And for 5 watts out of Brentwood, you're doing great. All right, I didn't catch any of that. So Andrew, I'm gonna catch you later. Hopefully, when I'm under better weather conditions. But that was Kilo November for Victor Kilo X-ray. It was funny because I looked up somebody else. It wasn't Victor. I looked up. It was Papa Kilo. I forget what it was now, but I looked up to another person who was on a net accidentally. All right. Good to have you in there, Andrew. And I'm glad you tried to check in. It was perfect. Perfectly unreadable at first, but you did come in because of the changing conditions. And he's, of course, in Brentwood. Who else? West, please come in.
November, Quebec, 2 Bravo, Carl and Brentwood.
Hey, Carl. See, now there you go. You just proved it. How much power are you using over in Brentwood right now?
20 watts.
Can you go lower?
Sure.
Okay, see, now your signal dropped down and you're still coming through, although I could hear some of that noise traffic, whatever it is, it's on, that due to weather conditions. But, and your antenna's how high? Now I'm not copying you, Carl.
Oh, sorry about that. It would help us actually call the flip level enough to engage it.
How high was it to the top of the antenna? Oh yeah, that's awesome. See, we had I don't know. Did you hear Andrew on his HT from Brentwood?
Yep, actually, he's coming through down here. I just turned on the radio. Disconnected the mains. I need to do that about once every 3 months anyway.
Yeah, no, you're doing fine. The lower wattage is a little worse because of that. There is like static crashes, which I don't hear all that often on FM, but there's obviously a lot of electricity in the air tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pitch it back up. We'll put that back up to about 35 here. But yeah, it's we want to get this moving again, and I'm pretty sure that I just talked to a couple of guys on another repeater earlier, and they had some really nasty weather up there, kind of, I guess, east of us and a little bit north of us, up around Gatesburg in that direction. Power is still on up there, but all of the cable services and any ancillary stuff that's not related to power is out up in that direction.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, the bad weather is really a problem everywhere. All right, well, very good. That's Carl. He's in Brentwood, and that's November, Quebec, or Quebec, 2 Bravo, Brentwood. Carl, appreciate you being there. Yeah, I'm glad you were copying Andrew real well, and I'm pretty sure Andrew is probably copying you if he's still on the air. Who else we got, West? All right, late check-ins, any place, anywhere, please come in. I heard 2 stations, but I heard Terry in there. You covered up whoever was there. How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing okay, Paul. I'm glad to check in on your 500. Congratulations on your 500 net, and hope you have 500 or so more, at least. But anyway, didn't make it to the breakfast again this morning. I had to. It's kind of hard when you get in about 4 a.m. to get up that quick. So, but hopefully I'll get back to one of them eventually. And anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. And like I say, congratulations on your 500 net. And everybody 73s, and have a rest of the good weekend. What's left of it, and back over to you to get finished up there, Paul.
Yeah, very good, Terry. Good to have you in there. Yeah, well, see, if you were 21, you could easily just come home, sleep for 2 hours, and come to the breakfast. But you're not 21.
Yeah, and it shows.
No, you know what I'm saying. I often look back at what I did when I was in my early 20s on construction, and I think, are you sure that was the same guy I am today?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't even like looking at pictures of myself anymore. I'm looking so old. But you don't think about being old a lot of times, and then you see the people that you were around years ago, and man, that guy looks old, and then you look in the mirror, hey, I do too,
Yeah, it's funny how age creeps up on you, but it really is the mental age that matters. It really is. It's physically, yeah, I guarantee you we're gonna deteriorate, okay? I know I am. I try to avoid some of it, but you figure when I got out of the Navy in 72 and I worked construction, I think I weighed around 195, 200 maybe. And that's only 75 pounds ago.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I hope everything went well. I didn't get to catch the first part. I was out eating with my son and his wife, and hope everything went well with you on your 500th, and congratulations
and that's quite a milestone there. And keep up the good work, and everybody have a good weekend. Ken for MPB.
Yeah, very good, Terry. Yeah, Terry, that 500 is it's a funny. Well, it's not funny. It's just funny to me because like I said, I wasn't keeping track, and it wasn't critical that it be that I know how many. I do it whether it was 200 or 500, and I can't. And again, same old deal. I can't. This net is worthless without people checking in routinely. And I mean routinely. There's lots of people who check in once in a while, and there's a whole bunch of other people who check in once in a great while, and then there's a whole bunch of people who check in regularly, when they can. And I understand all that, and that's why by us all being active on the air on Simplex, it causes more people to be interested because then they got a frequency they can go to and talk to people and get to know them better, and it all works in concert with each other. So, yeah, I'm the net control guy, but I'm not the only one on the air. I lots of times I honestly sit back. I can hear the radio sometimes from the living room, and I'll sit and hear people talk, and I go, "Oh, this is great!" On Simplex. This is awesome that people are just getting together and having fun, and that they didn't used to do too much of before.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you're saying. And a lot of times in the mobile, I'll use repeaters quite a bit more because it's kind of hard to get with everybody going down the road without one. But other than that, I mean, let's see, set up like you are, or something. But other than that, yeah, it's great when you can get several guys together and Simplex together like that.
Oh no, I appreciate everybody who checks in. That's why I say that. I'm just not just talking to make people feel better. I really do appreciate when people get on the air, and even if they're just talking amongst themselves about things I don't even know what they're talking about. It's fun to realize there's other people using the frequency and Simplex to their advantage and just have fun. All right, there was Terry. He's in Murfreesboro, and that's Kilo November 4 Mike Papa Victor. Who else was out there? Oh, I heard of Woodbury. Hold on. I heard Danny up there in Hendersonville. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great. I said I was going to go through this quick, and it didn't work out that way. We're not finished, and it's already 9:15. So, how you doing up there in Hendersonville, Dan?
Doing okay. A little late this morning tonight. Had the opportunity to have dinner with my daughter. I'm not going to turn that down. I like you guys and all, but I don't get to do that as often as I'd like. So, I heard you in the car on the way back, and I wanted to say one thing quick and low. I do have a question for you if you have a moment.
You do have what?
I have a question for you if you have a moment.
Yes, I might have an answer.
So your X700, have you measured the SWR on that?
Not with a meter, no. I mean, I know it's relatively low because I can see it on my meter on the transmit, but that's not a great number to look at off the FT 897.
Yeah, well, I swept it with a Comet CA 500, and it gave me acceptable results. It's not a great match, but it is one, and it's wide enough. My radio has another view of that, however. I was tuning around last night, and I heard just another part of the conversation, which I may go through another time. There's a repeater up in Bowling Green that I picked up last night. Very, very strong. And I don't know if it was a tropo opening or just what, but it was way up at the 147. And the max on that antenna is just a tick over 2 to 1 there. I was not happy about that.
Oh, up in the high end, it was 2 to 1, really?
Yeah, you get down around down the bottom of the band at 144, and it's pretty well dead on. And there's a couple of ups and downs that you would expect with a collinear like that. So I was very distressed to notice that it's pretty high up at the upper end of the band. It's not like I could do anything about it, so I may call Diamond and see what they allow.
Yeah, no, I got you. It does seem pretty high for what's a normal a normal repeater frequency.
Well, yeah, you would think that a vertical you would be cut for. You certainly would be cut in the weak signal area down the 44. So I just thought that was odd, and I didn't know what their experience was. I didn't know whether to make something out of it or not. The radio doesn't care. It's having to pull back a little bit and take care of itself. I'm not worried about it. It was a little disconcerting to go
Yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah, I would. It'd be worth finding out, though. I'd be interested to know, really, if it was that, 2 to 1, way on a normal in the normal part of the band.
Yeah, exactly. And one other quick question. I'll turn it back to the next blow through these. Tonight. Have you ever heard that repeater up in Bowling Green? It's on 147, 165, I think.
Yeah, I have been on that. Not recently, but I have been on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just happened to be doodling around last night about, I don't know, 1:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, 4:01, something like that. And what I was doing is I was, spot checking SWR in a couple places, and I picked something up as I was squealing the knob. And I sat there and listened to those guys for a while. There was a half a dozen of them up there, and they were all, yakking back and forth and whatever. And they were from all over. I assumed it was Bowling Green based on the way they were talking. There's another 147.165 over in Sparta. And based on what they were talking about, I didn't figure that was them. So I was just curious if you've ever heard it or been able to hit it. I tried to key it up today. Was unsuccessful, but I haven't heard anybody on it either. So I didn't know if it was a little tough on last night because they were like 20 over.
Yeah, no, I mean, in fact, your signal's getting a little crappy there, but I guess because you're mobile. But no, in fact, if you look up that repeater in Bowling Green, it seems to me it's on a good elevation, and it's on a pretty big tower. I don't remember the size of it, but somebody had like a drone video of the tower, which was pretty extensive.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I'll have to check that out. So anyway, all right, now I'm gonna turn it back. I've had more than my time. I just wanted to take you on those things while I had you. So anyway, thanks a bunch, and congrats on 500 and all of that. And turn it back to you. WD4 you back in that. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, very good. That was Danny, Whiskey Echo 4 Echo in Hendersonville. He was mobile, so his station wasn't as big as it normally is. He's got a real nice station at the house. Who else? There was somebody else in there. Who was that?
K4 JBR, 4326.
Kilo 4 Juliet Bravo Romeo, right?
That's Roger. I'm surprised you can hear me there, Paul.
Well, with the conditions being kind of crappy today, I am too, but you must have a decent signal there from Woodbury.
No, I think it's all you. I couldn't hear Carl, the carrier, Carl wasn't at all.
Oh, is that right? And this is Jesse, right?
That's correct.
Oh.
And Gracious and Growing, Woodbury, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, no, we've got another fella down there in Woodbury, and that's I don't know if you know Jim down there. Kilo Echo 4 TYJ.
I think I've heard him on 490 before, but there's not that many hams in Cannon County. I think they said about 36 at the moment.
I don't know if you heard that. We did. I looked it up for Cannon, Rutherford, Williamson, Wilson, and Davidson counties. And there's one thing that's true about your county is that per capita you have more hams for the population than Davidson does.
I would only guess because the 9-1 repeater is here. I don't know, but I don't hear very many of them on here. They must be on something else. I monitor 9-1 most of the time, and 490 sometimes. Yeah,
hang on, Richard.
3 or 4 different repeaters also.
Yeah, no, but you know what's funny about that, Jesse, and it holds true for Rutherford, it holds true for Williamson, and it holds true for Wilson, and I may have checked some others, but the more rural counties actually have more hams per capita than Davidson does.
There's not a lot to do here but drink and talk on ham radio, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't suggest that. I would suggest that people are more inclined to be an amateur radio because they are more rural and away from the normal systems,
Roger, I haven't thought of it that way, but yes, where they CB was always very prevalent up here. There were a lot of CB operators up here, even more so than some of the other counties. Gives them something to do at night, you know, because there's not a lot of downtown running around. I appreciate you coming back to me. I just want to get on there and I think this is 500. Jerry told me this was, and I want to be one that logged in. So this is K4, JBR, Woodbury, and I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you being there, Jesse. That was Kilo 4 Juliet Bravo Romeo. He's in Woodbury, and he was surprised I could even hear him, but I do Woodbury pretty decent. The other fella in Woodbury, he's got a beam, you know, like an 11 element beam pointed at me, so it's pretty easy. He can do me on 5 watts. So, all right, who else we got? Anybody else late checking?
KN4 PQX.
You know, I thought it was you checking in earlier. This is Joey, right?
That is correct, and I heard you giving my identity away. I don't appreciate that.
Well, it was funny because my brain did a I think you call it a transliteration, and it was a false one. What I heard and what I put into what I translated it as was you, even though it wasn't you. You know, but the call somehow under the bad conditions, it sounded like your call.
I understand. I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah, it was just funny because it was relatively close. I say relatively. His was Victor Kilo X-ray. I believe that was him. Yeah, Victor Kilo X-ray, and yours was Papa Quebec X-ray. So it was just, I heard the X-ray and I put 2 and 2 together and got 7.
That does happen sometimes.
Yeah, how you doing, Joey? I hadn't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just doing college prep kind of stuff. I just came back from a trip in California visiting family and relatives.
Ah, what part of California did you go to? The part that didn't have the earthquakes, I hope.
Actually, it was pretty close. I felt that last one. Just Southern California, right near LA, and then we went down to San Diego for a little bit.
Well, those are nice areas if you got the money.
Yeah, the weather was super nice. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, you get used to this, and I was used to Florida, and in this area, of course, Tennessee, and you get out to California, and it's actually a lot drier, and even when it's warm, it doesn't feel as uncomfortable. So it's kind of a nice climate out
there. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I lived out there for my whole life until I moved here about 4 years ago, so the humidity was a big change.
I bet it was. Yeah, I know. Well, living in Florida, that's why I knew that there were people who like retired to Florida, and the next year they were gone because it's just like, man, I don't really like this humid weather.
Yeah, I can't understand why in the world someone would want to retire out there.
To Florida, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, well, there's a good reason, and I'll give it to you in a nutshell. A lot of people that, let's say in Michigan and some of the big cities up north, they retire, they make great money on their house they've been in for 40 years, and they got a lot of cash. They go down to Florida because there are no income taxes, just like Tennessee. That's why do you think Nashville in Tennessee is growing so rapidly? Because it's a state without a state income tax.
Huh, I guess I never realized that. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, and plus, I was just joking around. My wife made a joke. It wasn't really a joke. She says, we could move up to Long Island because that's where her home was when she was much younger. And I said, yeah, that'd be nice, except I don't think we can afford it because the taxes are on the property taxes on my house that I have now are about $1,200 a year. There, for the same house with the same property, would probably be $12,000 a year. And they have a state income tax on top of the federal income tax. So yeah, we're not moving. Oh, it's crazy. It's like insanity. And you can understand why New York State's population is shrinking.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's crazy how much everything's costing. It's like just a regular pickup truck. If you want to buy a new pickup truck, it's about $40.
Oh, I looked at one of those high-end club cabs, with the heavy-duty stuff, and I think it was $65,000.
Once you get into the 3500s and stuff, you're going to be reaching 6 digits pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to do one of those. Maybe a 10-year-old one, maybe. All right, well, listen, Joey, appreciate you being in there on the 500th. That was Kilo November 4, Papa Quebec X-ray. There's only one P in there. Kilo November 4, Papa Quebec X-ray, and he's down there 6 miles south or so near Percy Priest Lake. Good to have you in there, Joey. Joey's still in high school, and he's doing great, really great, doing college prep work, and
going to hit the road running when he gets to the, I don't know, Harvard maybe, MIT. Where are you going, MIT?
Correction, I am graduated and going to Lipscomb University in school start next month.
Oh, awesome. Going to Lipscomb. I didn't know that. Good deal. Good to hear that. I'm sure you'll do fine, and keep up the good work, and don't ever forget to. As long as you got great goals, you'll do great. All right, Joey, appreciate you being in there. Again, that was Kilo November 4, Papa, Quebec X-Ray. Who else in there? Any other late check-in? Lurkers, lollygaggers, sandbaggers, SDR, donglers, did I say scanner listeners? And what else? Also the preppers and the end time survivalists. All right, which category are you in, Scott?
I'm a worker.
All right. Well, today he had an hour and 30 minutes of lurking. I can't believe it's gone this long.
It was 8:45, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to run upstairs, check in." And well, I've waited 45 minutes to check in from there.
Well, I appreciate your patience. We've gone longer than I expected to. I don't have any I don't know who's going to check in or why or when, and we end up talking about things we shouldn't necessarily be. I just don't know. Midway, I've been, I've gone through sometimes half of the compass, and there's like 10 check-ins. Like, it's not going to be big, and then it turns out to be 30. I don't know.
Never know. Also, it's a big night. You doing the Traders Net?
Yes, we will do that. If nobody else shows up after you, we're going right into the Traders Net. So you doing all right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just reminded me. There's somebody else that didn't show up for the breakfast this morning. For some reason, you reminded me of that. It said they were going to try to make it. So yeah, it's funny how people show up for the net and they have other family issues. And I've even early on in the first, I don't remember, it was the first year, I fell asleep on the sofa at like after dinner, and my wife woke me up at 8:15 and said, "Don't you have a net tonight?" I go, "Uh-oh."
Oh, that would have been a good one to skip over.
And then we even had the second breakfast we had. I forgot about it and slept in. And they went, and then later in the morning went, "I can't believe I missed my own breakfast."
I keep saying I'm going to get up and drive over and do that, but saying and doing is different things.
Well, it's not a short little haul. I mean, it's, and you got to fight the traffic on Saturdays, and it's not a light traffic. Usually mid-morning around, going towards noon, it gets a little heavy on Mount Juliet Road for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, carry on. It's running late.
All right. Good to have you in there, Scott. That was Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and he's in Laverne. Great signal. And let's see. Anybody else for you? Procrastinators got to come in later tonight or tomorrow or whatever.
Check.
What do you want, Richard?
I want to tell you something.
Yes, go ahead.
You can be as humble as you choose, and that's fine with me. But the fact of the matter is, had it not been for this Simplex Net, there'd be a whole bunch of people in this area that don't know the others exist. They don't even know, you see antennas on houses and vehicles and this and that and whatever have you, and you know what they are. They're not, they're kind of hard to handle. But you never heard the person behind the antenna. Didn't even know who he was. Well, 500 nets ago, you brought that to bear. And I am dang proud to be a part of this organization and you as head of it. I just want you to know that. KI4SIB, I'll shut up now.
Listen, I appreciate the kind words, but I'm not sure organization fits well into that sentence.
Well, how about organized chaos?
Whatever. We don't have any rules really, except for the ham rule, the standard ham gentlemanly rules. And I do appreciate that. And again, it's I don't think anybody ever hears me bragging on the air, because I don't think of it that way at all, because I enjoy being on the air. I hope that's obvious. And I enjoy meeting new people, and I enjoy being of service. But if I didn't enjoy the other two, I wouldn't enjoy being of service. So, and of course, I'm used to working with the public, and I enjoy this kind of stuff. So it's not a big stretch. That's why I don't take it as I'm humble about it, because I like doing it. It's if I was making some great achievement here, the greatest achievement from this net, really, not to put anybody else, I'll push them off on how many people show up, because it's great. It can't be a net without everybody out there. It's that I've been able to consistently get on the air and be a focal point so that everybody else can kind of get to know each other. It's not just me, because I haven't met everybody, but other people in other locales, they've gotten together. They get together on the air. They get together personally. They help each other with antennas. They, help each other with, might be car problems. It might be who knows what, but they help with other technical issues or personal issues. And it's more than just people talking on the air, as you know. All right. Anyway, very good. Maybe appreciate it, Richard. Hate to be getting on that stump about what's good and bad, but I know I just have a good time. Who else? Anybody else? Late check-ins before we move on to the buy, sell, swap, and swindle.
And 4 NYA. Good evening.
Hey, Dale. That's a really late check-in, but I'm glad you're there.
Yeah, we were out having dinner, and I just happened to come home. I'd left my radio on, came in, and I heard your voice. So I'm glad I was able to check in and be counted in among all the other Simplex.
Oh yeah, no, we're doing great, and I'm glad you're there. You were number 27, so it's another big night because we've been averaging in the 20s, between 20 and generally between about 20 and 20 something, 27. I don't know. I don't keep track of the statistics. I just know where we lie. But I can remember seriously. You may already know this, and I know I've said it before on the air. Is it a year ago, May, which is only 2 months ago? Well, it's 2 months ago, a year away, May, but it's 14 months ago. We were only averaging about 12 or 13. So it's like it's just steamrolling. It reaches a point where there's a lot of people participating, and it's fun to watch, really. Well, I can't watch much, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it seems like it's picked up. 27 tonight in county. That's pretty good. I wish some of the local repeater nets could pull in that many. That'd make it a lot more fun.
Well, you're going to have to settle for our fun until that happens. How about that, Dale?
I'm sure that'll be just fine indeed. But how'd breakfast go today?
Oh, it went great. It went great. If you're, like I said, if you're a quart low, you can certainly get it over there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I wasn't able to make it today, but I'll get back out there soon. But, anyway, back in that control, man. Thanks very much for including me.
Oh, yeah, very good, Dale. Good to have you in there. That's Dale, November 4, November Yankee Alpha. He is the EC for Wilson County over at the Wilson County Emergency Management Agency, and seemingly doing a great job. He actually gotten so much better in the last year or two. Who else? Anybody else before we move on? All right, waited long enough. You've only had an hour and 37 minutes to check in, so if you want to, you can come in later or just be a lurker. It's fine with me. Either way is good. Move on to the buy, sell, swap, and swindle. If you have anything to sell, that'd be probably the predominant. But if you got anything you want, you might want to bring it up too. Scott, did you have something?
Yes, I do. 2 things.
Go ahead.
The first one is the Tech Jupiter that I posted, 550. Oh, wait a minute. Now, let me double check that price. Yeah, 550 plus shipping. That's coming out of Woodstock, Georgia. It's my son's. And he's also selling an MFJ 564 model iambic CW paddle, $80 shipped.
Ah, very good. I don't know if everybody could hear that, but Scott's got available 10 Tech Jupiter, $550 plus shipping, and that's going to be shipped out of Georgia, Woodstock, Georgia. And the other one is an MFJ 564 iambic CW paddle. It's $80. And is there any shipping on the paddle?
That's shipped.
Okay, very good. That's shipped. $80 shipped, and you can see Scott's email on QRZ, I believe.
That's great.
Yep, and that's Scott Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta for those that needed the reminder on that. All right, very good. Is there anybody else who got something to sell? K4 IDC. Why don't you submit your 37-item list and we'll go from there.
Well, recently added to the collection are several different lengths of 9913 coax. I do not know how much I have at this point. Probably something on the order of 120 I have some nice 9913 coax available.
Very good. And there's various lengths, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. 9913 cable available, 9913, which is a high-end, low-loss coaxial cable and varying lengths, and that's Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie, Comcast.net, I believe, wasn't it? Robin?
That's correct.
Okay, good. That's Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie at Comcast.net. Anyway, 9913, some excellent cable if you're looking for some, and you can get hold of him. Anything else? All righty, then I will close out that portion of the net, and we'll move over to, well, wait, and before I do that, well, hang on one second, please. And of course, I got the peanut gallery here that we can, are we going to finish the net? See what a crowd I have here. It's unbelievable. There must be 50,000 people out there. All right, we're moving over to 144.240 upper sideband on 2 meters. So you guys have a great night who aren't moving over there, but that's where we're going. So appreciate everybody who checked in. There was 27 of us, which was a big night. It's as always now. It's always in the 20s, or at least I think it is. My memory's not that good, but I think it's 90% of the time we're in the mid-20s. So have a great night, everybody on FM, and I'm moving over there right now to 240. Alrighty, I believe I'm on the right frequency here. This is 144.240. This is the Mount Juliet Simplex Net on the upper sideband. We'll start again from the south and go from there. Hey, how you doing there, Dan? We got you in there. That's Kilo. Is the Kilo India 4 BBA? Do I have that right? Ah, there we go. Yeah, I got it. I'm slightly off frequency here. All right, we got Dan in there. Kilo Mike 4 Victor Alpha. Who's next? Anybody else south? All right, over to the east. Please come in. Hey, you sound better here than you did on FM.
Yeah, you're significantly better here too.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds great. And you're on full power?
I got all 50 watts coming at you.
All right, very good. Just want to make sure. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India down there in near Watertown. Who else south? Over to the east of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
And 4NYA once again.
Hey, good to hear you in there, Dale. You sound great.
Yeah, it's the first time I've tried this since I got the new 9700. So gives me a lot more capabilities than I've had before. So I look forward to some more of that.
Yeah, and you've got a real, I don't know which microphone. Is that the stock microphone that comes like a desk mic?
Yeah, it's the stock microphone. How does it sound?
Well, yeah, I mean, is it a desk mic or the handheld?
It's handheld.
No, it sounds very good. It's got a nice bass and a nice audio tone to it for sideband.
Now I've got the mic gain on 50%, so I'm glad to have that report because I've always kind of been wondering how the audio was on this thing.
No, it sounds really good. It really does. And you were just fine on FM. I know you were on the. Does that radio have that 2 meter? Well, obviously it's got 2 meters. Is that FM on that radio as well?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, no, you sounded good on both. I wouldn't have guessed which radio it was or why, but you sound great on the I hear on the sideband portion of the net.
All right. Well, good deal. Feel free to carry on. N4NYA.
Yeah, very good. That was Dale N4NYA over there in Lebanon. Anybody else east? Anybody north?
KB9 RTK.
Man, you are loud, man. How much power are you running? 1,000 watts?
No, I'm actually just on the radio. Usually I'm using my 160 watt amp when I'm on that.
I'm not kidding you. What do you got your gain set at? I mean, that is really loud. I had to turn down the volume.
I'm on the headset now.
Wow. I mean, that's loud. Now your radio gain, I'm serious. It's really sounds louder than it should be.
Okay. I'll check it out. You know, so 7,000 so out there in menus.
Oh, I understand. Well, very good. That was Frank up here in Northwest Wilson. Anybody else north? Anybody west? Anybody west of Mount Juliet? All righty. Well, I'll just do a rundown real quick. We had myself, K4PEW here in Mount Juliet. Dan, Kilo Mike 4 Victor Victor Alpha here in Mount Juliet as well. Wes in Watertown, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. Dale over in Lebanon, November 4 November Yankee Alpha. And then, of course, Frank over here in Northwest Wilson, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Romeo Kilo. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if you have a gain issue or something unique about that headset. Because, like I said, it was really loud. Which radio is that, Frank?
It's Icon 7000, you know, mobile that I'm using. It's a space station, and it's a ProSet Elite headset.
Okay, I'm going to be dumb enough to ask the dumb question. Did you order the ICOM element for that?
Yep, it's the special version just for Icon.
Okay, so I guess my question wasn't too dumb. I've never had to have to order one. That's why I'm asking if that was if there was some kind of issue there. But no, the gain has got to be an issue. Got to, because I'm not kidding you. Your signal is like twice as loud as anybody else's, and it's kind of raggedy. Oh, did you? Did you, Earl? Are you out there? Yeah, it's a little light, but I got you in there, Earl. You sound good. Yeah, very good, Earl. Good to have you in there. I'm glad you checked in. Yeah, this year I'm going to get to meet you either at HamQuest or Cedars 11 on one of the two if you're going to show up there. So I'll make a point to be there. I've been talking to you for a long time, at least a year, or maybe longer, and maybe 18 months or 2 years. And I haven't got to meet you yet. All right, is there anybody else on sideband to check in?
K4IDC.
Hey, there we go. That's Robin here in Mount Juliet. You sound really loud yourself, but how much power are you running?
Yeah. Let's see. Do that again. About 8 watts.
I'm telling you. You know, that thing, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm in Star Trek. Would you please set that thing to just off of stun?
I can turn it down. Let's see. All right. Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, I'm not joking. It sounds, I mean, FM, you're fine. This, I'm not kidding. I feel like you've got a 18 element beam pointed right at me.
Well, I just showed you the advantage of narrow sideband.
Oh, is that what you were doing, really?
Yeah, it's just the nature of sideband. It's much more narrow than FM. There's no real carrier, so you get stronger signals for the same distance or longer distance, however you want to look at it.
Okay, no, I just thought you were pulling my chain about having some difference in how you were transmitting. I didn't quite. And I know what you're saying, though. Yes, no, you can do 5 watt. In fact, Rusty, who's been in here from Murfreesboro, he gets on 5 watts on a vertical. And I hear it's a light signal, but it's as clear as day.
Yeah. So I've turned the power all the way down. Hello, and I'm registering. Let's see. That's 5 right there. Right now I'm showing 1 watt.
Yeah, so you're doing fine on 1 watt. You really are. I mean, I've got you solid. I don't know how other. Is anybody else copying Robin on 1 watt?
I got it clear.
Yeah, there's other stations that are copying you, Rob.
Roger.
Well, it goes to show you there's other modes that get out just fine other than FM, and sideband's one of them. So any other stations wanting to check in can hear us? Well, very good. We added a grand total of 7 people, and I know there's some that are out of town, so we would have had a couple more in there. And just a quick rundown, they got me here in Mount Juliet, Dan in Mount Juliet at KM4VVA, and then we got KE4TWI West down there in Watertown, Dale in Lebanon, and for NYA, and KB9RKK over there in Northwest Hills. We're Northwest Hillsborough, Northwest Wilson County, and then of course Earl KE4 Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu down in Noreen, down by Cedars of Lebanon, and of course Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie Robin here in Hermitage, just south of Mount Juliet. All right, appreciate everybody being there, and I got to bug out here, man. It's almost been 2 hours, and I feel like I'm hogging the airwaves and eating up time here. So you guys take her easy. K4PE.
Hey, Robin, you still there? K4IC, KE4TWI. Go ahead, Wes. Hey, I might need some of that 9913, so reserve me a spot. All right.